Now listen, before we get into anything today, as the release of the new Drake song and promise of the Iceman album is making the Drake fans more annoying and angry at literally everything I am saying because they don't want to hear the truth about how lame their favorite artist is for dancing in an icebox or know how his playbook is gonna fail next. Well, shocker, they are not gonna like what I have to say here once again because we are just standing up for the betterment of hip hop. So before we go any further, be sure to leave that like, it helps me out a ton. And with all of us together, well, the Iceman supporters are gonna freeze up and have absolutely no idea what to do when all of this comes down once again. And now, speaking of coming down, why today's video is so important and why all of hip hop needs to be ready for what's about to happen just in the matter of moments is that right now, within this week that we are currently in, well, everything is surrounding and leading up to one thing and one thing only, and that is, of course, the new Clipse album, which is about to drop. And with this record, well, in terms of albums that have been officially announced before it's released and have had a set date to drop, there has not been a record where the stakes have been this high in years. And really, as a result of this, what we are seeing is now that with Pusha T, Malice, Pharrell, Kendrick Lamar, Tyler the Creator, Nas, Jay-Z, and everybody else who is a part of this record and who is standing on the right side of hip-hop, well, collectively, this record is a statement that is trying to plant the flag of rap's future in the ground that Kendrick Lamar has shifted the genre to forever. But now, because of the implications of all of this, and also because of Kendrick Lamar and Pusha T, who really may be not just the most feared artists in rap, but in all of music right now, coming together and having some very big surprises on deck, well, all this brings us to the problem, which is now that because this Clipse record without competition will make sure that the Iceman stays frozen forever and never has the ability to even slightly control the tempo in rap ever again, well, with not just Drake, but two rappers who are standing on the other side of the line that Kendrick and Push are on and who are representing the clout-chasing, out-of-touch, and just stale era of hip-hop that almost ended the genre before Kendrick's Like That verse even came out, well, now in none other than both Drake and Travis Scott. With everything going on, all is pointing to the fact that both of them are moving around and getting ready for big weekends where we could get albums and songs right alongside this massive genre-shifting album from Pusha T and the Clipse. And with this, well, what is clear right now is that we are about to see some of the craziest events that we have ever seen as hip-hop fans in years. And now, once again, before we go any further into this and what all this is gonna mean, make sure to leave that like and subscribe so everybody understands the stakes of what's happening throughout the entire rap game, and so that despite how mad the Drake fans get when I expose how Drake's playbook is already about to fail, well, still, despite all of OVO being mad at me, all of hip-hop can see how Drake is about to be the loser in all of this, because in actuality, with what the Iceman is doing now and how he is starting to chase attention and immaturity more than most rappers, especially as seasoned as he is, have ever even tried to, well, when it comes to Drake trying to compete in any way right now with the guy who can say what he wants to about him freely for the first time ever since the story of Adidon dropped, because of course, quick side note, let's remember that Aubrey was already Lawbury back then, and he made Push's final years within the label system awful as he could not even get lyrics across that were trying to tell his story. Well, now truly with this, I don't think Drake understands what he is getting into, but somehow with this entire weekend that's about to go down in hip-hop, well, with the two faces of the hypebeast era in rap in both Drake and Travis Scott, well, whether they are working together or not, both of them are trying to stomp on Clipse's moment in their own ways. As for Travis Scott, as he could be dropping Jackboys 2 with his label right on the same day as Clipse, and then for Drake, well, he is headlining the biggest karaoke fest possible with the Wireless Fest, and is also rumored to drop a potential Iceman episode 2 with then a potential second single alongside the Icebox dance moves again. Well, with this, regardless of whether Drake and Travis are moving together or not, they are both trying to clearly step on what is about to be the next moves from Kendrick Lamar, Pusha T, and the rest of these MCs who are just so passionate about the actual craft of hip-hop. And really, when we break this down, for two guys who without Drake's writers and just for Travis in general have the same rapping ability that Al Pacino does, well, again, for trying to compete with one of the greatest writers of all time in this thing, and for Drake, the man who of course exposed that he was just hiding a couple of big things from us, well, I guess it is a smart move for them to try and play into the one thing that they actually have, which is their ability to clout chase and just distract people from the actual thing that they have devalued in the first place in the art of bars. And now, speaking of Hall of Fame level clout chasing, I don't even know how I am gonna get through this one, because for Drake, when it comes to how he wants to try and hush what Clipse and Kendrick have going on, well, so far, and we are already not even halfway close to seeing what Drake is actually gonna try and do in the end of this all. Well, for hip-hop's favorite cosplayer and icebox dweller, Drake is getting ready to put on the saddest and most desperate attempt at trying to create all of the noise he possibly can that I have maybe ever heard about. Because really, what Drake is gonna do to try and make his upcoming 3-night karaoke sing-along at the Wireless Festival try and take over the moment that Push and Kendrick are creating is something that I don't even think the best comedy writers could ever even come up with, because literally what Drake is actually about to do, well, according to his good old buddy Aiden Ross, is that he is probably gonna get a plane to fly out all of the streamers to watch him and stream at the festival, and come on. Let me ask the Drake fans, if you are somehow watching this, who won the beef again? Because seriously, to try and organize a field trip to create the illusion that you are still cool and get people like Kai Cenat to just try and sit there and make your performances seem a lot more interesting than just a lazy, tired out, and spiraling actor walk up and down the stage while people just ask for handouts? I mean, honestly, this is worse than the OVO pizza party, as with Drake now directly organizing a field trip to try and make this moment a big deal. Honestly, I don't know if I can get through this. I'm at a loss for words. I don't even know what to say, because the fact that this is what you decide to pull out when Kendrick Lamar has a verse coming on one of the most anticipated albums of the entire last decade. I'm being serious. I actually have nothing else to comment about this, but really with Drake, when we look at this, what he is trying to, of course, do is really just to try and create the ultimate race of clout chasing with him and all these other streamers and make him act like he is this big deal when in reality, even if Drake does this and Kai Cenat does his little dance and makes his audience think that this is the cool thing, well, really, until Drake fully goes against Kai Cenat, these are already the only fans he has left, because these are the only people who are out of touch enough in hip-hop to think that Drake is still cool in the Big 2-5. And really, as a result of this little field trip for Drake is not going to change anything that is happening in hip-hop culture, and it will not stop the impact that will go down in the actual genre when Kendrick Lamar and everything that Clipse has done releases. Because again, between this and even just the fact that as Kendrick Lamar is on his own tour that is going to be bigger than these shows that Drake does anyway, even if he brings out all the biggest streamers in the world to try and make it look better and better, well, again, and I know I'm quoting this in the third video of a row, but it's really just showing how timeless GNX is, because this is not enough. And now for Drake, while it really is looking like he will definitely be trying to stop Kendrick and Clipse from getting all the momentum by just having Kai Cenat and all these other streamers clap on stream for him, which is just lame, he could also have something else coming, which will be the second Iceman stream and episode, where we will maybe get a basement tour this time and more moments of Drake yelling at random people while he is driving the ice truck in public. And of course, as based on what we saw in Iceman 1, another song would follow this. Well, now, while Drake making another song would definitely challenge Clipse more than the other weird field trip that he is trying to do would. I mean, come on, if it's anything like What Did I Miss and just the Kendrick verse and presence follows in line with what his run has been doing, which I am sure it will, well then the Ice Age for the Iceman is just never going to begin, and Clipse and Kendrick are going to get their moment off regardless of the antics that all these losers try to pull. But now, aside from Drake, well, the moment does not stop here, because also with Travis Scott, who is clearly trying to do something here, well, now when it comes to his response so far, well, according to what is confirmed, well, from rushing vinyls to be ready all the way to the point where he made people line up and get this thing with everything they had just to give them 7 songs from the album, and now he is acting like this is some sort of a gift. Which now, quick side tangent, after Lil Wayne did the same thing with the Carter 6 to try and help that record out with its first week's sales numbers, I think we need to call this out and say that if half your album is not on the vinyl, it should not count as a sale, and this is just a classic example for Travis Scott especially, of being the biggest bundle merchant you possibly could be. But now, beyond giving your fans an album that they are going to need to get DLC to finish listening to with the physicals, well, in addition to what Travis is preparing and what we fully know, with him trying to hype up this thing by sending out Jackboys 2 Lamborghinis to the featured guests on this thing, which once again are showing and confirming that artists like Waka Flocka, Kodak Black, Sofago, and of course the mandated 21 Savage feature are all going to be a part of this thing. Well, I guess Travis Scott is sitting back right now and thinking that he has done it. He has figured out how to respond to Pusha T dissing him on So Be It the way he did, by sending out incomplete vinyls to get him another fake #1 like he did with his song 4x4, which had the quickest fall off for a #1 song ever because it was literally faked. And then of course the copy and paste 21 Savage feature, the verses from washed up rappers who have no motion, and finally letting So Fago is going to stop Pusha T and Clipse from having their moment and releasing one of the most anticipated rap albums in years, right? And of course, this is wrong and honestly laughable when you break down what Travis has put out so far, because unless Travis does something innovative, but wait, he doesn't have leftover songs to take from the guy who made Graduation and has given him so many of his biggest and most successful tracks in the past, and he doesn't have a creative mind like Pharrell to actually give him interesting ideas, and between all of this, and then Travis being stuck with Waka Flocka and Kodak to go against Clipse, Kendrick Lamar, and Tyler the Creator. I mean, listen, seriously for Travis Scott, people will check out Jackboys too, but I think it's for his best interest that he doesn't try to drop against Pusha T. Because really, I don't even think that the clout that he could possibly get from this record will go his way, as it's not a solo album, and honestly, the features just look pretty mid, and it looks like this record is just going to be more of the same that 4x4 was, which was just straight mid. And so again for Travis Scott, unless what he is presenting right now can do something that nobody is expecting, but again, and this has always been my problem with Travis Scott, and why despite how good his discography may be at certain points, he will always never be that high up on the all-time list, is that really when it comes down to Travis Scott as an artist, as all of the ideas that make his albums special come from other and more talented musicians, especially in this time where the stakes have never been higher, I don't know who he is going to run to because of where he is at now, whether we look at where he stands with the guy who made Graduation, Pharrell, or even Drake and his writers who do give him some of his biggest songs on both of his past two records, and with this. Well, now while Travis can get all the bundles he can ready, and maybe he will send out another Lambo to Soulja Boy, Bow Wow, Ja Rule, or Vanilla Ice next, who knows? Seriously, with 99% of the ways Travis can move from here and with what he has presented, well, he is really just setting himself up to embarrass his entire name, especially with the fact that Pusha T clearly does have something else ready for him, whether it will drop after the album if Travis does push things further, or if it's on So Be It Part 2 from the Clipse record as a whole. So really for Travis, things are just not looking good for him as well. But what I will say is that both with Travis Scott and Drake, if they have any sort of idea of how to move right now, well, I think at the very least, we could end up finding out where these two really stand with one another, because now while Drake and Travis have not been on the best of terms, if they both put the antics away and realize that Pusha T and this entire side of hip-hop stands in the way of what they want more than they stand in the way of one another, well, who knows, as Drake's Wireless Karaoke Fest has another name that says TBA, and that is the person who will be right under him on the set list. I mean, there is a chance that that could be Travis, and he comes out for this OVO karaoke night, and they stand together to try and just distract from the classic album that is going to be dropping for everybody to hear. And hey, if they do this in any capacity, well, I think if they put their best efforts together, maybe they lose by 10 points to Clipse and Kendrick instead of 30. But really now, I say all of this to just point out that as long as Drake and Travis run away from real rapper moves and just try to dance around the two most feared rappers in the game coming out, and again for Drake, he is doing this performative dissing where he is trying to give off the illusion that he is standing up to these guys who have ruined his career, but of course he's not going to mention them by name or actually do anything, where another Not Like Us or Story of Adidon could come out. Again, everybody already sees the trick, and because of this, however they react will speak volumes, and while they may impress the hypebeast with what they do, and the streamers may have a good reaction, it's not going to actually move the culture of hip-hop, and for this reason, what I would say is that no matter how both Drake and Travis move compared to the Clipse and Kendrick Lamar and what they try to do to respond to their disses and ruin their moment, just learn your lesson, Drake and Travis, quit while you are ahead, because the one thing that you should all learn if you are a rapper by now is that I don't care who you are, you should not mess with Pusha T. And especially you should not mess with Kendrick Lamar, and if you are trying to stop both of them together, well, if you are really going to try to go up against them, especially with a streamer field trip or with a Waka Flocka and So Fago feature and a vinyl with 7 songs, you might as well say goodbye to your career, because who knows what they are going to be truly capable of when we see them together, and who knows what exactly they are aiming to do. And so now with all of this said, let me know, what do you think about everything going on in this amazing week in hip-hop, where we are going to finally get this Clipse record and we are seeing Drake and Travis Scott try to scramble to do anything they can to just take away from this moment and what it's going to mean? Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all this, and now if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. Now, if you want to see how right before this, Well, as Kendrick Lamar is moving around and continuing to prove that he is one of the biggest stars not just in hip hop right now, but rap ever and really in all of music at the moment. Well, Kendrick Lamar has shown that he is really looking at Drake like a joke right now, as he just laughed about him on tour, and at the same time of all of this, well, A$AP Rocky is also in some trouble after he just had a major flop, and that may affect how his album is going to come out going forward. Check out the suggested video.